Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Well, currently this API is working. It's bringing us result and we can type that or print them on our console. Over here, this is the init method, and this init method actually gets called from our home page. So let's go ahead and find our home page over here. So this is our home page. Now we know that init method gets called over here, but of course if we want, we can also go ahead and access this from here, like the one that gets called. But of course in that case over here you have to return a list and then access it from here, and we'll also have a list over here. But this is not what we want. We want to update our UI, which is this one, using BLoC. So that means that over here, once we have this list coming from our server, we want to trigger an event. So that's what we want to do. As we trigger an event on our UI, which is over here, we have home blocks and home page states. So they would help us to update the UI. But first, go ahead and take a look at our home events. So over here, I'm going to open up home events, home page events. Now, currently inside this, I just only have, well, one event over here and one abstract class. So now this events actually home page events, which helped us to deal with this index over here. Now we want to create a new event over here. Why? That's because we have a list coming over from here, from the server. Now this is the list actually we have printed, and now let's go ahead and take a look at it one more time. Okay, so over here we see that we'll have this information that's coming from our backend server. Well, so we want to show this information using BLoC. So the first step is to create a new event over here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this would be about course item. So here we would do class homepage . Now inside this we are going to have a final type variable, and it would contain our list. So that's why here we'll say list, and inside this we'll have course item, this one. Now course item is the model that actually corresponds to the list that comes from our network call. So we saw it before, and we'll take a look at it. We'll look at it one more time. Anyway, so let's first come over here, this one, and then we'll create a variable. We'll call it course item. Now of course we need to create a constructor, otherwise we'll get errors. So we'll create a immutable constructor using const. So here we do course item. Actually it should be homepage course item, homepage course item. Now inside this we'd say this course item, and we should be good to go. All right, so this is this event that we created. Now once again, over here I said that this event would be triggering a list, that we have a list coming in and update the UI, right? And this list has a model. So this is our model, and we know about it. So from the backend, we'll have user token, name, thumbnail, description, video, price, and everything would be coming from. So this is a simple model about our course that's coming from our backend. So we have everything over here, including the fields and then the constructor, and as well as the course item, which is from JSON method, because the information that comes in from server, we need to convert them from JSON to an object. So that's why we have this one. We also have two JSON method, but most probably we are not going to use this one. So we have this one actually ready. Now we are also ready with this homepage course item over here. Now we're gonna go ahead and look at our homepage state. Now previously in our homepage state, we just only had one field, which is int index, and this was helping us to change the index over here. So wherever you could click, it would update the items and the related information. So this is what we had last time. Now inside this over here, we're going to create a new variable, and of course you can guess that would be a list type variable. So list, and it would take course item inside as a type, and we'll call it course item. Now this things, how it updates and how it works, everything we have seen before, so I'm not going to repeat. So I'm just putting everything into the skeleton over here. So anyway, when home page states get triggered, so we have to initialize our list over here. This is the list. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here we do this course item, and here we'll have actually an empty list. So here we do course item. So this would be an empty list over here. Okay, and most probably we need to put const tag modifier, and the error should be gone. All right, so with this over here we are ready. So whenever we call this home page state, our index gets initialized 0, and course item gets initialized with an empty list. But what if we want to change? But we know that if we want to change, we already have this copy with method. So over here we just need to call this one. So inside this we're gonna call course item, and if course item actually exists, the value actually not exist, the value that would be coming from here, if that exists, then we're going to use that one. So first we need to tag a new parameter over here, so that would be list course item, and then we'll call it course item. All right, so if this one exists, let's see, course item, okay, to use that. If this one exists over here, use this. Otherwise the one we have initially initialized, we have to use that one. And of course over here it did say that add a required keyword, so we don't want to do that. So over here we'll make it like optional, and with this the error should be gone. So now we are done with our events and page. So next time we want to change either index or course item, we could just simply pass one of them, or pass both of them if we want to change both of the items. Okay, so states are ready, events are ready. So this is the time that we go ahead and create a BLoC for it. So previously we have registered a BLoC for our home page index over here. Now we want to create a new BLoC in this section. And how to do that? Actually it's simple, just go ahead and register one, and here would say home page course item, this one, and then over here we'll call it home page course item. You can name it anything you like. All right, now of course it doesn't exist, so that's why we have this error. So with this we just registered our event over here. Now since the registration is done, when we call this event, we could do a lot of stuff, including trigger an event, or trigger a new state. So that what we would be able to do. So over here we do void, and then here we'll do like course home page course item, this one, and we know that it would take course item homepage course item, this event over here, and we'll create a variable name event, and then of course we'll have emitter class, and inside this you have to say what state does it belong to, or a type. You have to mention the state type, so it should be homepage states, homepage, actually it should be, let me see, oh yeah, we have only one class for that one, so homepage states over here. And we have to create a variable, and we'll call it emit. We know that we can call it anything. Now over here we're gonna invoke the emit function of this emitter class, which is a callable function and which we have learned before. So over here we do state copy with, and actually copy with this one. So what do you want to pass in this case? Once we trigger this event, we just want to pass our course item. So course item, and it be coming from event.course item. Beautiful. So once we call this event, we're gonna pass this course item as an event, and then as an event to the state, and then state would be updated because we are passing whatever the coming from this event as a list. We are coming to this, to our copy with method, so it would update the course item. It means that from our UI would be able to grab them. Beautiful. So with this we are done. All right, now after this I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to actually restore everything. We make sure that nothing is breaking. Beautiful. Okay, great. Now we need to come to our home page over here. Now previously in our home page we have had this let's see, course grid, right? Okay, so this course grid, if you go ahead and click on this, this is the one that actually showing all these images and everything over here. Okay, now a few things we could do right away. Now if you come over here inside this now one thing in our init over here, actually we need to update our UI in the sense that we have to trigger an event. So right now we did not do that. So if status code is 200, this is the time we can go ahead and trigger an event. So here we already have this context. Now of course this context is coming from here, so it's actually coming from this init state method. As you see, we are passing the context, but of course we have to make a bit of change soon. Anyway, so let's first go ahead and check it over here. So inside this we could do like this, context.read. So we're gonna read this, read the context. And what kind of context you want to read? You want to read home page blocks, this one. So I want to read the context about this, and after this I want to add an event to it. So that's why we call add. And okay, very good. Want to add an event, and after adding the event, actually you can call the event the one that you want. So course homepage course item. So this is the event that we want. And what do you want to pass to it? You want to pass result.data. So remember, result.data contains our list. So that's what we want to pass. Now I'm going to remove this from here. So now let's go ahead and restore our app. Okay, great. So nothing broke up so far. Now let's come to our home page over here. Now, is this a place that from here inside this state, can we just access one of the items that we have so far? So because we know that over here we just triggered an event. So if we triggered an event, that also means that inside this, the state variable would be able to access the course item. So now that's why we're gonna come over here. So here we would do print state dot course item, and as you can see, we can access it. So most probably, since this is a list, we can access the first one, and from that we can access the name. All right, and let's see whether we can do that. We can do that or not. And as you see, it's already available there. Okay. So that means that our state is working. We successfully get the items from our server. After that, we are able to update them. Beautiful. Okay, great. Now we need to find this section. So this section is actually, so far we know that that should be inside this grid view over here. So right now, over here, actually, we could go ahead and grab our course item. And how to do that? So here, simply, we could just do state course item, and then we can actually pass an index to it. Okay, of course, we'll have an error over here. So we need to come over here and do like this, course item. Now we need to import it at the top, otherwise we'll have an error. So this course grade is being called from here. Now each index actually refers to an item of this object over here. So we are grabbing the index, and based on that index we are taking the course item. That item we are passing as an object over here. All right, so with this we should be able to view and work on some of the information. Now let's come over here. First thing I want to do is remove this text over here. So let's go ahead and do that. So over here we would say item dot name. This is the first one. And okay, do we need to convert it? So over here we could do like this. Okay, great. So if the name doesn't exist, then we'll have an empty name. And what else we have? So here we'll have item dot do you have a description? So use description. If the description doesn't exist, then use null. Okay, so that's what we want to do. Now let's first go ahead and restart our app, and we'll see if we have changes over here or not. Now, of course, first one is Laravel course, the second one is Flutter course, and over here we have this range issue. Now that's happening because of over here. Now previously it was hard coded that we'll have 4 items in our grids. So that is the problem. So over here we have to have like this. We're gonna take the state, and then over here we do course item and the length. So that would be the dynamic length, and as you can see, it's gone from here, and beautiful. So it means that our state and update list is working with Flutter and BLoC and with everything we have done so far. Now what about the images from here? Okay, now for images itself, we see that we are passing this path over here, and how to work with this now. Now this path is saved in the database, we know that, and we also know that our server URL is over here in our const file, so we have to grab this one. Okay, all right, so we could also do like this, create a new file over here with say static const, actually a new variable, server uploads. Okay, over here, so here we do like this, server API URL, and then here we'll have uploads folder. I think that's uploads, and that's it. Okay, so this would be our server uploads folder for images. Now if we are here inside this home page, where is our home page? Okay, we don't need this. So over here now we can go ahead and find our grid container. Now the images we see, we can directly go ahead and remove them. And one of the things we could do right now, instead of doing like this, we could also do network image. Now inside network image, all we need to do is simply pass our URL. So the first URL we're gonna pass it from app const, and then server uploads, the last one. Okay, so that's the server path. So at the same time we need to have our image path. So image path is coming from items dot we have thumbnail, this one, and most likely we need to, let's see, what is going on? Null cannot be assigned. All right, so here it says that it can be null, and as okay, so remove this const and put this as a thumbnail, and it should be good. So let's go ahead and see it here. Beautiful. So right now we are able to load the message, load data from the server, and as well as load our images and text and related information from the UI, from the server. So one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and log out, and then over here, well, it looks like when we log out, we do have an error over here, status code of 400. We'll take care of that later. So first, let's come over here and do info@dbestech and 1 2 3 4 5 6. Let's go ahead and work on this. All right, beautiful. So everything is loaded from here.